Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel where we discuss all things narcissism, and this video is some signs that you might be dealing with a covert narcissistic person. And people can behave in these manners, in these ways for different reasons. However, if you're dealing with somebody who shows a repeat pattern of behaviour, if you're dealing with somebody who feels entitled to get everything their own way, is exploitative, lacks the empathy to care about other people, then there's a high chance that these behaviours are done to get at you. And often you'll notice if once they've got at you, they suddenly feel happy. They suddenly feel smug because they believe they've now got one over on you. Whereas a genuine person would be at some point willing to communicate with you about the issues that you had at that moment in time. So when it comes to covert narcissism, this is where they are trying to keep their behaviours hidden from view. You can have the grandiose narcissist who is arrogant enough to believe that they are special and has enough people around them believing in their lies that they can get away with being who they are no matter who they are around. And then you can have the vulnerable narcissist who doesn't have that many people believing in them, so they have to change who they are depending on who they are around, depending on the ideal they're trying to sell that individual person, the belief they're trying to sell that individual person. So one frustrating behaviour of a covert narcissist is if you're trying to get your point of view across and you've listened to theirs, you've understood theirs, you've heard theirs, you're just trying to get them to see a different point of view. And if your point of view does not match theirs, they're not interested, usually because they lack the valid argument. So what they will happily do is start attacking your character. And if you're not playing into their hands, if you're not playing into their games, if you're not taking what they're saying to you personally, and they will make it personal to get that reaction from you, they might just mutter something under their breath and walk away from you. And when you say, hang on, what did you just say? They'll just turn around and say, I didn't say anything. You must be hearing things to gaslight your reality. And also because you're looking for that communication, you're looking for those answers. So for them to mutter something under their breath, because then they feel like they've had the last word, they feel like they've had the last say, and then they walk off feeling better for that, while you're the one that's left full of frustration. If somebody wants to walk off and mutter something under their breath and fail to communicate with you about it, if it's a genuine person, at some point you might be able to communicate. If it's a narcissistic person, recognise the childlike game that they are playing, and they're doing it to frustrate you. So don't get frustrated with them. Recognise that's who they are as a person and leave them to it. You can't finish a story, you can't finish anything that has happened to you without them making it about them. So if you are going through anything within your life that is some form of suffering, they've suffered worse, they've had it harder. That's nothing compared to when they can actually almost look for people to be struggling and suffering, so that they can say, oh, now they know what it's like. Still not as bad as what I had to go through. Or if you're trying to share good news with them, something positive that's happening within your life, they will dismiss it or downplay it or claim, well, as if you're able to do that. Or they will come up with a story, often exaggerated, of how they or somebody they know has done something far better than you, or how whatever it is that you have achieved isn't really of interest and it isn't really anything special, and the 4 years of hard work you put into it is irrelevant. Or they will take the credit by claiming if you hadn't have had their support and their encouragement, you wouldn't have been able to do it, because they don't believe you're able to do things for yourself. Walking ahead is another one. Now, you can just meet people who are fast paced, who have longer legs, who have just got in their mind the plans that they're doing for the day, and they want to make sure those plans are going to get achieved. So you can meet people that just walk ahead without the criteria and the other behaviours, and if they turn around and say, hey, are you okay, then it's nothing really too much into it. However, with a narcissistic person, when they are constantly devaluing you, belittling you, not listening to you, muttering things under their breath, ignoring you, sulking at you, falling silent on you, and they have to walk ahead of you, it's due to the fact that they want to feel superior. They might not want to be seen with you because they might have somebody on the sidelines that knows nothing about you. So there's many a reason why they walk ahead. However, it's quite frustrating when you're trying to enjoy a day with somebody and they're too busy walking ahead, or too busy walking ahead and on their phone, and not for business purposes, because we can all have busy lives where we might need to be on our phone to our children or to do work, but they're on their phone and they won't let you know who they're on the phone to, because they enjoy causing that intrigue within you. They enjoy provoking those feelings of jealousy within you, so they can then turn around and say, it's not my fault, you're jealous, as they pass the blame over to you. And anything they ever do wrong, anything they do to hurt you, anything where you try to call them out, they blame it on things that have happened in their past. They blame it on their trauma. They blame it on their childhood. We can all have had trauma. We can all have suffered in life. However, abuse is abuse. There is no excuse. Genuine people take that trauma and make sure they do not hurt somebody in that same way. Narcissistic people take their trauma and use it as an excuse to rationalise and justify and get away with their behaviour. Oh, well, you know what a terrible time I had. You know what a terrible childhood I had. It's not my fault. You know that I've got this. Well, if you can recognise that you have an issue, that is the first step to dealing with the issue, not to use the issue as an excuse to hurt other people. Another thing that covert narcissistic people might do is not share. They're like that toddler that this is mine and nobody else is going anywhere near it. Now, we have things in life such as a car where you wouldn't want your neighbour just jumping in your car and saying, well, you should just share, unless you have that good relationship with the neighbour where if your car breaks down, they might let you borrow theirs and they might borrow yours. But there's that communication. You wouldn't just go and take something. A narcissistic person will happily just take something and then not tell you. And you might phone them up and you might say, hey, I had a couple of pounds in my purse to pick up some milk. It's not there. Did you take it? And they will just go, yep. Oh, right. And if you try and bring on a conversation of like, are you going to pay it back? They're going to get offended and start accusing you of things. Yeah, if you were to just go in their wallet and take money, they're going to fire so many accusations out at you and they're going to be offended that you dare touch their stuff. They do not like sharing. You can be in a cafeteria with some work colleagues and one of them might be, oh, can I have one of your biscuits? You might even offer them and they'll just keep eating. And then they'll bring something in that looks nice and, oh, may I just try a bite of that? And they'll be like, no, my husband brought these for me. My wife brought these for me. My mother made these for me. And they'll not see any wrong with the fact that they're willing to take, but they're not willing to give. You can have people that don't like sharing. However, those people will tend to not take your stuff. Another thing with covert narcissism is they will happily look through your things. They'll happily look through your phone. They'll happily look through your letters. And if you try and say something, they'll say, oh, you're trying to keep secrets from me. However, their phone, their letters will actually be under lock and key so that you cannot have any form of access to them. And if you try to communicate with with them, they're going to turn around and say, don't you trust me? Have you got trust issues? Or justify it, oh, you know, I've got important things that other people aren't allowed to see. So they have those double standards. And they'd rather impress a stranger than care for their own family. They've put all the work into the idolization stage to impress somebody, to get their own family where they want them. And when their own family are no longer playing their games, they get offended. So they would rather impress a stranger because a stranger is a blank canvas. They can mirror that stranger. They can future fake with that stranger. They can sell a false ideal to that stranger of who the narcissist is while creating jealousy within their family. So they can turn around and claim that their family is bitter, their family is jealous, their family is this, that and the other in the smear campaign while they play the victim to the strangers of, oh, you know what my family is like, so that they can get away with their behaviour. And another frustrating thing is the grandiose are usually the life and the soul of the party. They'll make sure they put you in a bad mood before they arrive so that they can walk in all grandiose. However, with covert narcissism, they'll tend to try and avoid family occasions, especially if it's your family. They might want you to attend each and every one of their family's events, their family's occasions. And when you turn up, they've got that charismatic charm on. They're cracking the jokes out. People are laughing with them, enjoying their company. And you're stood there thinking, well, that's not who they are. This is a bit different. So they might attend their families. They might not. They might have spoken that negatively of their families. So you might see some of their family. You might not see other of their family. And we can all have those negative people within our family that we like to avoid. So you might not read too much into it. However, if they do avoid their family's events, they'll often find a way to blame you. They'll often claim that you didn't want to go. You're the one in the bad mood. You're the one that had something on. And if they can provoke you on the way there to a couple so that you turn up all flustered, this backs up their story when they claim that the next time you don't want to go. When it comes to your family's events, the day will be ruined before you've even started getting ready. They'll find something to start attacking you on, to create that atmosphere, and then they'll put you in a mood so that you don't want to go, or they'll create a situation so that they can turn around and claim, well, I'm not going with you anyway. Well, who's going to get you there? And they're going to get you to a point where all occasions, all days out will be ruined by them in some way. There are lots of different frustrating behaviours that covert narcissistic people display. Any you noticed, please add those into the comments for people reading through. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers, and your continued support with the channel is greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot give no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.